subscribe. Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
Eleuthinian. Yeah. I just have a question about okay, so I get the whole FBA concept and everything, and I'm just wondering, all right, there are a lot of white people in the country, or so-called white people that we look like white people, but we're not all completely 100% white. Like, I have ancestors that got here like back in the 1600s, and not all of them were white. And now I just look really white, and I am like I got my 23andMe, but I know that like I actually have confirmed ancestors that are like African slave
Right. Most
descendants.
white people do. A lot of
That
white people do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm just saying, like, I respect the FBA. Like, we have deep roots here. I do too, and I respect that about me. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I just sometimes I'm like lost on this. It's like sometimes it seems more like a Black Power movement that you've got going on than a like we've got a shared history, and I don't know. I was just wondering where you stood on, and I'm not ashamed of that at all. By the way,
Okay. Okay.
my
Let's.
black. I'm
Okay.
like I feel like you're part of my
Oh
family in
Lord.
a
Okay. Okay.
extended,
No. Okay.
in
Let's
a
slow
very
this shit down. Okay.
extended
You ain't getting no
way.
reparations. Let me just let's clean that shit up. I see where you going. Let me pump that brake right now. You ain't qualified for no reparations. All right. I knew. See, this is what white people are gonna start trying to pull. I said this already. I said when we get this thing going, you're gonna get white people like, well, you know what? I got my granny. Well, she had a collard green recipe from my great 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 grandma, and yeah, you're not qualified for reparations, sir. Let me just be clear on that because you are not currently a foundational Black American. See, the term foundational Black American covers past and present. All right, that means what you are and where you came from. Yeah, there are a lot of white people who do have some type of Black or African ancestry. A lot of them do, but they have ethnogenesis. And then they start whitening up, they turn white, and you live white, and then you get all of the benefits and the privileges and the protections of whiteness. But we do not get any benefits and we don't get any protections from being foundational Black American. This is why we have a movement where we're trying to get the proper compensation and protection for our lineage. That makes sense?
I mean, kind of, but not really. Like because okay, all right. Let me lay out my cases why that doesn't make any
Oh,
sense.
let's hear it.
Okay, so like the way I see it, my black ancestors, my foundational black ancestors were like, I want to marry into the most functional and best situated family, most, you know,
Functional?
advantage,
Wait, functional
most maybe, okay, hold on.
what slave owners were functional? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about people who were rapey ass slave owners who were selling babies and breeding people and abusing people and maiming and castrating and um doing the most egregious acts in human history, and that's functional.
All right, well, first of all, let's get this out of the way. I mean, they did that all that shit back in Africa and in Europe too.
Oh
I'm
no,
not claiming.
no, 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 they weren't selling children. No, 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 they were not selling children. And if in Africa they weren't systematically raping people without any consequence. No, 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 they weren't doing that in Africa. And in any other place, you weren't just raping people without consequence and a person had no rights as a human being. No, sir. No,
Yeah,
no, no,
no,
no.
that's exactly what was happening in both Europe and Africa
No, they weren't
at
selling
that
no
time.
children.
That's exactly.
Sir, where? Where was that happening in Africa?
I mean, it was happening everywhere in Africa and also in
Where?
Europe.
No, no,
I mean,
where?
like, I'm
Where?
not gonna
Where?
look.
That's not true. Just that's you saying that's I'm white and I say so. They weren't selling children into slavery in Africa.
Yes, they were. They were the
Where?
Muslims in northern Africa. Okay, if you want to not claim the North
Who?
Africans, that's cool. But what I'm saying is,
What
they
Muslims
were
were selling
definitely.
children?
the Muslims that were raiding the coastlines of Europe.
They weren't selling children. That's not true. You're just saying stuff. And the Muslims that you're talking about, the Moors that went up in Europe who were black, they weren't raping on nobody and they were not selling children. You just made that up,
I
sir.
mean, that's not true. That's not true at all. I mean,
They
in
weren't. Well,
warfare, you
name
capture
this.
people.
They
Okay,
did
hold
what?
on.
No, they
Hold
weren't
on.
selling.
Let's de-escalate.
What would they sell a child for? They didn't have a reason to sell a child. No, they didn't. They didn't make people.
They didn't want to kill the child. That was literally the reason why people were brought into slavery. You have a war captive. You don't want to feed this person. You're not obligated to a war captive at all, by the
That's
way. You can
what you're
just
saying. Ain't
kill a
making
war captive.
sense. What you're saying isn't making sense, sir. That's not. They didn't sell children. You're just babbling, sir. They didn't sell children like they did here. They were
I'm
selling
just
children
saying, like,
here.
that's the way people looked at the shit when they
No,
conquered a
no,
place.
no, no, no. You're just saying stuff, sir. So no, the United States government, which still exists, by the way, the Moorish Empire doesn't exist no more. See, we can talk about some shit that happened in distant lands or whatever, which didn't happen, but besides the point, those empires don't exist no more. The Moroccan Empire doesn't exist no more. The Ottoman Empire doesn't exist no more. Those African nations don't exist no more. But the United States government, it still exists. And this government that still exists, they were selling black children into slavery. You were born into it. That's very unique. Now, is that the family you said that's functional that people wanted to marry into? Huh? Is that the
Well, first of
functional?
all, being born into slavery isn't unique at all. That's usually how slaves are born. That was always how they were born throughout history. I mean,
No,
there's
no,
very
it's not.
few. Yes, it is. Yes,
Where?
it very much
Where?
is. What?
Where?
Okay, so what?
Where?
Everywhere. There's nowhere
No,
on
not no
earth
everywhere. You
that.
weren't born into slavery. No, you where?
Yeah, in a lot of places, that's
Name
what
one
slavery
place.
was.
Name one place
Every
with
place,
proof.
every single
No,
place.
that's not
Okay,
true.
I'm first of all, I'm not arguing.
Okay, so sir, you've told about 5 or 6 lies, and every time we need you to elaborate and bring some proof or some scholarship, you just start babbling, sir. That's not really a good faith argument type. So, yeah, you've already established yourself as being disingenuous, sir. So that kind of nullifies any type of serious discourse that would come from you, right? Because you'll say anything. So, yeah, so you're not even talking in good faith. If you sit here and say, yeah, there was people born in slavery, where? Everywhere. Everywhere, like where? No. Yeah, everywhere. That's just some white not say so. Is that's going to be your response to everything? It's just I'm white not say so. Just say some shit that's not true and just keep
Okay,
saying
all
it.
right. Hold on. Do you actually want to have a conversation, or do you just
Not
want to
really. Not to
mumble
be
on?
honest. Not really.
Okay,
Not really.
all
Not
right.
really. Because
Well, why not?
You've already established that your whole go-to is going to be I'm white not say so without any scholarship,
Okay, all
any
I'm trying to
proof.
wait.
All right.
You didn't hear me out on any
I
scholarship.
don't want to. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not just going to hear I'm white not say so. You're not going to just lie. I'm motherfucker just lying. Yeah, there were people born into slavery. Where? Everywhere. Name someplace with proof. All over. Okay. Have a good day. That's not true. That ain't true. All right. You're not just gonna be saying shit now. Let me get my sister Brooke up here. Brooke, what's up, beloved? What's up, sister Brooke? And
Hello,
everybody,
how are you?
hey, beloved, how are you, dear?
I am so good. I just wanted to add a little something to the conversation when you were talking about the Haitians and them coming over here to Louisiana.
Yes.
Um, when the white Haitians came, they brought their the traders with them.
Oh yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
brought the black collaborators or half black collaborators with them. There's a movie about it called Feast of All Saints.
Feast of
I
all
love this
saints.
movie. Yes, Feast of All Saints. It was like a HBO movie from back in the day, and like every black person in the world is in this movie, like Jasmine Guy, Ben Vereen, um, Foxy Brown, the original one. Like I'm gonna tell you everybody movie, and it's basically a movie about plissage and how some of the mulatto women that they brought over, how they were free, and how some of them had plantations and owned our foundational Black Americans
Oh wow. Okay.
because they were given this property from the white French in Louisiana. So it's a really great movie. I recommend it. It's very hard to find, though. It's
Oh
very hard to
wow.
find.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna
And that's
definitely look
why I
that
did
up.
my plan here.
All right, thank you so much, beloved. I'm gonna definitely look that up. All right. Everybody give me a retweet. Can y'all do that? Can everybody give me a retweet right now? It ain't gonna take nothing but 1.5 seconds. Everybody throw that retweet up. Human X, what's up, Human X? Human X, unmute your microphone, please. We're waiting to hear from you, Human X. If you can unmute your mic and join the conversation, that would
Yeah,
be
that's good. Anyways, but I have nothing to say. I'm just listening.
okay. Why'd you request?
I kind of did that by accident, but so I was just I'm curious about this thing about us being Black Americans.
Okay, well, I hear an accent. So what part of Africa are you from?
What makes you think that I'm an African?
Yeah, it kind of sounds like an East African thing going on. Where you
Not
from?
really.
Really? Where you from?
Yeah, my accent is more like English.
Oh no. Because you're talking about being black, and
I
right?
am Black. Yeah,
Okay.
just because I was educated abroad, but what I'm trying to say is,
No, sweetie,
um,
slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Yeah, if you're black with that accent, you're African. It's not even a Caribbean accent.
well,
That's an
I am African. I'm not denying that.
right. So why did
But
you
what I'm
why did you get
saying
offended?
is,
Why did you get offended when
I
I
am absolutely not offended, and I was hoping you didn't notice this, but
yeah, we
for
do,
what it's
sweetie,
worth,
we
I'm
do. I
here
noticed this stuff, sweetie. Yeah, you're not yeah, man. What part of Africa are you from, dear?
somewhere.
Why are y'all so ashamed, sister? Yeah,
I'm
y'all
just saying, but I just wanted to make a
listen.
like a little.
No, slow down, man. You don't have to rush. You don't have to be ashamed of your homeland. It's okay.
I'm not ashamed of my homeland. I'm super proud of my homeland.
Then where is it, ma'am?
Like I said, I was born in Africa.
Right. What part of is East Africa? I can hear your accent, ma'am. I'm pretty good with this stuff. And it's okay. What part of East Africa is your family from? Y'all went to Britain at one point, but you came from East Africa. What part, dear?
Honestly, I was born in the middle of nowhere.
I know this. I know this. What's your birthday, by the
That's why
way?
surprise. You don't
What's your
even know my
birthday?
birthday.
What is your birthday?
No, actually, I was born in the middle of nowhere in Turkana. That's like the border of Turkana in Sudan and Kenya.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
What's your birthday?
well, that's not the point.
No, no, no. What's your birthday? Not the year, just the day. The month and day. What's your birthday?
What does that mean to you?
I'm just asking.
Okay, that's personal.
Ma'am, if you tell me my birthday is July 1st,
Your
that's not
birthday is July 1st.
yep, that's not gonna harm nobody. It's not gonna
Yeah,
harm
I
you.
think my birth month and the day is on my bio.
It is? Let me look. I don't see it. It's not on there, dear. I'm looking. It's not
Actually,
on.
it is
Okay, July 7th. 17, July
17.
17th. Okay, I got it. Okay.
Exactly.
All right, so what's on your mind, dear? What's on your mind?
Nothing really. So as an African, yeah, long story short, I'll try to make this really super easy and fast. Um, but I came from like a very war-torn country in Africa as a
Right.
kid,
Mm-hmm.
and throughout my like life, in my short life, I have learned a lot. And the fact that, we say that the white man went to Africa and colonized us and did this and did that, is that the fact is that white men couldn't go into Central Africa. They didn't.
Right.
You know what happened is that like they left their ships on the ocean. If you go to Ghana or Nigeria, any coastal region, because on the west side of Africa it was the white man, and then in the east side of Africa it was the Arabs.
Right.
Okay, It was our own people that dragged us out and put us in shackles and traded us.
Right.
Okay? So it's always like the white guy, white man, white man, white. No, our own people sold us out. So if black people, American black people, I'm one too. If we have a problem, we should have problem with our counterpart African men. Like this whole thing that, oh, white man owes a reparation. Like, okay, for beginners, I really don't even think the whole thing that transatlantic slave trade ever happened, because from that makeshift bullshit of ships that don't even exist that apparently sunk. From whatever history that we're being taught as black people, I think it is wrong, super wrong.
Okay.
You mean to tell me people with chisels and, yeah, they built these wooden ships and it came to, like, you can build the best ship and you wouldn't even make to Nigeria. I kid you not. The ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, it would eat you up. So how did they do this? Are we being lied to, or did our own people sell us out? Because we're blaming a group of people. It's the white man. White man did this. Like maybe white men want us to believe that they did this. It's a brainwashing. It's a war, but it's a war of the mind.
Mm. So,
White men didn't park their ship on the coast of Ghana and then traveled thousands of miles into Congo, Central Africa, you know, and raided
hmm
a village and put all these people in shackles and drag them out. Like
right. It
the
was some, yeah,
malaria
there
would
were
kill
some
them.
janky, African
Imagine of
sellouts.
that.
Right.
But
And
they were
they're not,
kings.
and when we say our
They
own,
were
they're
kings.
right,
No,
slow
they were
down.
kings. They were
Slow
kings.
slow down. And yeah, they're not my
Raiding.
own people because they sold my folks. So we were
How?
clearly not the same people. So yeah, I have a problem with them too.
Okay, so my question
I,
was that how do you know
how do I know what, dear?
that they weren't your people?
Because they sold me. That's why. They sold my people, so they clearly were not my people.
They sold their own people for profit, for grandeur,
No, they were not
for
my people.
castles.
They weren't my people. They sold an other. They sold people who were not like them.
Well,
They
then you
sold
sound like that.
foreigners.
See, that's what
So
they
they're
said.
not my people.
Because
So that's why I don't
wait a
rock with
second,
them.
no, 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 no. When they were raiding villages and abducting women and children from Central Africa, what they said was, "Those are not my countrymen because we're Nigerians. They're Congolese." That's the
Right.
shit. That's the shit that's going on to this day. That's
Right.
why
And
Africa is
and
so
uh, here's the
divided.
thing. Here's the thing. Yeah. We over here as foundational black Americans, we generally get on code with each other and we move as a 43 million plus unit. We are
No, we
collect
don't. We're too busy killing each other.
we okay. Where did are you French? Where did this French come from,
No,
dear? I don't we.
I'm a,
Where
I'm
did
an
we come?
American.
Oh
I'm
no,
an
no,
American.
no, ma'am. I said foundational black American. You're not a foundational black American,
No,
beloved.
go to Philly,
Ma'am,
Georgia,
ma'am, you're not foundational black American
and you say that how?
because you're not of my lineage. We come from different lineages,
So
ma'am.
how do you know that me and you are not of same lineage? Because if we were to do 23 and me, you'll be
Damn a
surprised.
23. Yeah, yeah, that's a DNA test. That's not lineage. DNA and lineage are two different things. You are from,
So what
ma'am,
is your
you
lineage?
are a
What is
continental
your
African.
lineage?
I'm not a continental African. I'm a
I
found
wasn't born in Africa.
No, 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 ma'am. You just said you left a war-torn
My
area.
parents are from Africa, and I'm an American citizen.
No,
But the
no,
thing
no, no,
about
no.
it
You
is,
immigrated here, beloved.
yeah,
Y-
I did. So what
Right.
makes you think that I'm not your lineage?
You're not, dear. I don't come from that part of I'm not no none of
So
my
where did you come from?
I'm from here. I had an ethnogenesis.
America.
Yeah, America, man. My people have been here longer than your country was a country,
There
beloved.
you go. Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
Right. I've been here a long time. My family built this country from
So you,
scratch. Slow down from the very
I
beginning,
get it.
man. From the very beginning. Nobody in my family immigrated here. We built the country. There was no country until my family built it.
But
So
how did your family get here?
yeah, there were already people on the land of North America, and then there were some brought over
Black
from
people.
parts of Africa. There were black people already here, and that's called an ethnogenesis. Just like over there in your homeland, before what's the name of it? It's what's the name of the country again?
Yeah, those idiots are still fighting, but
No, what's
anyways,
the name of the country again, dear?
they're just fighting.
Ma'am, okay, and
No, my interest is that
the
how
fact that the fact that you hate to even name the country that y'all had to flee from, yeah, we're different because I'm not ashamed to name the United States that my family built, that we've never fled from. Even though we've had all types of conflicts and trials and tribulations here, we stood on business. We didn't get all tribal and do all types of janky shit and try to flee. We stood on business, ma'am. So we're very
so my
unique.
question to you is, and I love the idea that I do honestly, I think that black people were here way before anyone in the
Hmm.
Americas.
That's absolutely
Okay,
true. It's true. Hmm.
yeah, that I do agree with. So what I'm trying to get to is, what is your take on the history of black people being here way before anyone? Because everybody's like, oh yeah, no, you guys just got brought here,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I'm like,
And I've
no,
said
that doesn't
we've
make
talked about that.
sense.
Yeah, we have been here. We've been here. Black people have been here longer than the red natives. But let me get my brother Average on here.
Yeah,
Average, hop on, brother.
Yes, sir. Hope you're having a good night, sir.
Yes.
I'm just in the last 30 minutes what I've seen, the observations, but this one right here, this lady right here, this is ridiculous. First of all, trying to latch on is that's why we call them tethers. They try to latch on to who we are, and it's we're basically the same, and we sold each other. And black, what is he saying? Black people, we participated in this conversation about reparations, and basically she's trying to exonerate the white man, which really makes me think that she's with a
absolutely
white
not.
man. She's with a white man. That's what I'm or trying to be with one. That's number one. Number two, um, you don't even want to talk about where you're from, but you want to always talk about what Black Americans are doing, where we came from, what we're owed, and our identity. We're not the same. Not even ethnically are we the same. Not even genetically. Black Americans actually have a unique genetic profile that is different from wherever you come from. As a matter of fact, genetically, in a village in Africa, they say there's more genetic variations in a village in Africa than there is in the entire white race. So me and you being two
Exactly.
different people,
That's called
we're not the
diversity.
same. Excuse me, we're not the same. So trying to compare, latch on, and say where you're from now. Listen, you in Philly, you was in England, you was on the border of Kenya and Sudan. You've been everywhere, all around the world, but you're not us. You don't have the same approach. And as
I was
far
just
as
a kid.
Africans being complicit in the slave trade,
They were
yeah,
complicit. Go to Ghana.
they were,
Exactly
yeah,
my point.
some of them were, depending on the region and
Yes,
all
they
of that.
were, and they
But
made
that
so
ain't
much money
us.
off
But
of it.
that's
They
not
lived
us.
like
That's the point.
kings,
You keep
and they
over
put their
talking.
little
You listen.
brothers and
You
sisters and
can't listen
children
with
and
your mouth
women
open.
in
You can't
fucking
learn nothing
ships.
with your mouth open. You're not here to teach. You're here to learn because you don't obviously don't even know
My,
much
it is.
about
It's
ethnicity,
history.
race,
Learn
lineage,
history.
culture. You don't know much about that. So if
No, I
anything, you
do.
should be quiet and learn. You trying to
No,
learn about reparations?
I'm
I
all
get that.
about learning.
You
Go on.
came on the stage saying that you really didn't mean to request, but then all of a sudden you have a lot to say. Now listen,
I'm
you are
just
doing a
saying that.
terrible job of learning, and you're trying to teach something and just give your
Well,
opinions
brother,
on
I'm
what you
here to
don't even
learn from
know.
you. So
Now, why do
speak.
you want to give opinions on what you don't even know? That's ridiculous.
What
This is
makes
the
you think that I
arrogance.
don't?
This is the arrogance of you guys, like always trying to act like
No,
you
I'm
somehow
not.
should have the
Honestly.
authority in the conversation. You don't have to answer every single thing that I say. I've been listening to you, and you having a
Okay,
terrible, doing a
ask a
terrible time
question.
listening.
Ask
Listen,
a
listen.
question.
You're here to listen. You're here to listen. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
and I
You
said
you
ask a
you need to
question.
learn. You need to learn so that way the next time you open your mouth and speak on somebody else's lineage, you can actually know what you're talking about and not just have these odd opinions that really sound like white propaganda. It
It's
sounds like you
history.
just drank from the propaganda teat of the white man and decided to regurgitate what you took in rather than even knowing what you're talking about. Now that's
No, trust
incredibly
me, I've seen more
ridiculous.
horror than
Now,
you
now to
can
land
ever
my plane,
imagine.
I'm gonna stop talking real soon, but I'm gonna need you to stop cutting me off. Now to land my plane, another thing I've noticed, Tariq, when that dude that was a cop that came up, and just other people, um, these tethers, they the reason why they come here and they're like this empty slate, they don't bring nothing with them, they don't really advance us culturally, they don't do nothing politically, the movement wise, it's because they think the white man is the standard, and then like
Yeah.
trying to speak like,
No, it's
talk
not.
like,
Absolutely
walk
not. I
like.
didn't
I'm
say
still
that.
talking. I'm gonna finish my statement. I'm
No,
still
I'm just
talking.
saying I didn't say
Trying
that.
to speak like, I'm talking in general. Don't worry about it. Don't, hit dog will holler. but trying to speak like, walk like,
Nobody hit
talk
me.
like,
I'm fucking
and
comfortable in my fucking
uphold this weird
penthouse.
standard that the white man said makes them like somehow
I didn't
passable
say that.
and
Trust me, you're
acceptable
way
is what
far
they
off
want
the
to let.
cake.
Excuse me, you're talking when I'm talking. That's rude. Did your mom and dad not teach you manners?
No, you
Especially
cannot
when
just
somebody is
assume
talking.
that people say
I'm
shit that they
talking
didn't
about
say.
people in general,
My
and you're
mom did
over
was
talking.
great.
Listen, I don't give a shit about nothing you talking about right now. I'm gonna say what I have to say the same way you got to say what you had to say. That's just fair. Do you not believe in fairness? Or is that a thing
I
in
do believe in
Africa where you
fairness, but
think you
I
should
just don't.
overtalk people about their
I
own
actually,
history,
oh
religion,
wow,
and
all of a sudden I'm
circumstances?
African.
Is that a thing in Africa
Okay,
where you think you have
it's
the right to
not
just
love. I
overtalk
haven't
people
been to
about what they
Africa since
know?
I was like 3.5 years
Listen, I
old.
don't give a shit about where you came from.
Okay,
Don't care about
ask
how
a
long you've been
question.
there or none of
Reason,
that. We
reason.
talking about American business right now. You're talking to an American. So
Welcome
you
to
should be
America.
quiet because you're not one. You're not a
You
foundational
are
black
telling me to
American.
be quiet.
Yeah, because you're talking while I'm talking. That's what I'm being nice and saying be quiet. I could say something else, but I'm being far more reasonable than you are. Now to land my plane, they come
Unleash
here.
yourself.
They come here with this can't shut up, don't have no emotional
Oh
intelligence.
please,
It's odd.
don't
And then they act
don't
like
do
they're the
that.
standard because the white man done put a battery in their back and they want to adhere to some kind of standard
Excuse
that the white man put in front of them and they think they're gonna be a better version of quote unquote
me.
black
Wow.
people. Meanwhile, when we speak, and we know what we're talking about, they still can't be quiet because everything the white man tells them about being better, oh, you're pure and you're this, it's bullshit, but they hold on to it, latch on to it while being these empty, meaningless, worthless slates that ain't got nothing to add to a conversation.
I don't
Case in
remember
point,
saying none
her.
of that.
She can't even shut up long enough to learn. And then on top of that, don't know what she's talking about. And then press the button saying, well, I didn't mean to do that, but then got everything to say and then got no facts in nothing that she's saying.
Do you have a
And I land my
question?
plane there. I
Thank you
land
so
my
much,
plane
brother.
there. Y'all have a
Thank you,
good
bro.
night.
Oh goodness. Okay. Human X. Um,
No, ask a question. Let's talk about history. I don't want somebody babbling. But anyways, thank you for your time and I appreciate it. And I really wasn't expecting you to have me in the mic. But anyways, long story
yeah,
short,
yeah. We like to have everybody give their 2 cents. Before you leave, let me get EJ to speak with you real quick. That's our FBA
sure.
brother. EJ, hop in.
I'm gonna just wait because I don't want to hear. See, he's already interrupted the brother. I'm gonna just wait.
Okay. Okay. All right. Human. Any last words, dear?
No, none zero.
Okay, but thank you so much, beloved. All right.
No big
Please get the
deal.
fuck off the stage. You brought Netta to the conversation, and I had to wait till this creature get off the stage. It's the problem with these African tethers. They don't know how to shut the fuck up and be quiet. She clearly came up here just to cause chaos and confusion, and it's such a shame that the brother average couldn't finish his spiel. And this just goes to show you that tethers like her don't have anything to bring to the table. She doesn't clearly know anything about the African slave trade and what her people did and what different places in Africa did to the people that was actually there doing something and actually trying to build something in Africa. We had an ethnogenesis. We're not the same group of people anymore. And it's going to take roaches like you to clearly understand that y'all need to go back to your homelands and fix your country. The Caribbean need to fix Caribbean business. White folks in Europe need to fix European business. And the people in America that practice white supremacy, y'all need to get off y'all ass and actually do something about, your community. The fentanyl, the crystal meth, the drug overdoses, the numerous videos of your kids getting into shootouts with police officers and not getting bullets sprayed in them. But when it comes to the Black American community, we're always out here being bullet bags and targets for your people in your community. The moral of the story is the days of us getting our ass whooped by you mayonnaise creatures and you tethers is over with. And it's just such a shame that cowards like that lady that came from a unknown country in Africa, she was so cowardly and so disgraceful and so pitiful that she couldn't even name her country in Africa. It's 54 countries in Africa. All of y'all are not really shameful. Y'all all of y'all can't be ashamed of y'all homeland, but the Tedder community is so goddamn cowardly that they can't even get up here and have a constructive conversation. And I salute you, Tariq, for letting these people speak. Because I'm the type of person when they be talking that bullshit, I'm gonna smack the bush meat out their faces and just going on about my business and block them. But I'm gonna just land my plane and let somebody else speak. I gotta go get the fly swatter and smack somebody in their face. Thank you,
Yes,
brother.
sir. Thank you so much, brother. Yeah, see, when she was talking, so you got to watch the tethers, boy, they use real tricky words. Boy, did y'all catch the little tricky word she was trying to use? She was like, "Yeah, our people sold us." Yeah, she kept trying to do this our people, and I said, well, foundational Black Americans did this. She's like, no, well, we and us. No, no, ma'am. What's this French you're speaking, ma'am? No, 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 no. No, ma'am. You were not enslaved over here. Your people sold our people. So yeah, what you're saying is right. That's why we're looking at you funny. Yeah, we weren't the same as those folks selling us. Oh, but us and our people, no, no, no. Your ancestors were on the selling side. Mine were on the sold side. It's different. So there's no shared victimhood in that exchange. Come on now. Don't let these folks weasel these little talking points in. All right. You're from the descendants of the traffickers. I'm from the descendants of freedmen. You see, their statement, they try to do these psychological deflections so they can kind of skirt guilt. So our people sold us. No, no, no. It's about protecting yourself from criticism. You're trying to blur the line so your ass won't be held accountable. See? Because see, they know we've delineated. Listen, family, they understand we delineated. And we already on the white supremacists. Notice she came in low-key defending the white supremacists. No, they say we blame everything on the white man. It was our own people. No, 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 ma'am. It was your people and the white man. Both of you bitches were against us. I'm looking at both of y'all. You see how that works? No, you're not gonna slide up under here talking about well, we and us and we. No, no, no. No, ma'am. Oh, we're still looking at you. Yeah, y'all, you can say all that us and we shit right now. We know you, and most likely she's from like Ethiopia somewhere. Yeah, most likely. Because family, you notice when she called up, she thought that I wouldn't notice that she was not us. She's like, I didn't. How did you know? First, she tried to say she wasn't from Africa. Did you catch that? I want y'all when y'all hear the playback, listen to the playback. First, she tried to deny she is from Africa. But I grew up in Britain. No, this is I have an English accent. No, ma'am, you're from East Africa. What the hell are you talking about? You know we hear you, right? They don't know. Do they understand how we do this every day? This is a tether slaying area right here. We check tethers all day. We know tethers when they show up now. Tethers. What are y'all thinking? Y'all, come on, man. Like we don't know. Shit, how did you niggas know? Yeah, we hear you. We can hear you, ma'am. So yeah, let's not play those games here. All right, this truth to power. We ain't playing those little janky games. It's gonna be truth to power here.
Root work, feel that natural flow. Root work, stay fresh wherever you go. Root work, I like the way it feels. Root work, the magic is so real. Root work, you need